is the first episode of Learning Nerds Download, LND. And I'm Noah. I work in learning and development, design stuff, deliver stuff, train teachers, and lots of other things. Walker, who are you?
Walker Williams. I also work in corporate learning and development. I spend a lot of time training digital professionals, as well as raising 3 kids.
You do raise 3 kids. Last time you said you hunt rocks. I like that.
That's true. It actually involves walking around in the desert, staring at the ground, and looking for rocks more than like hunting. That's what we do.
You wander and find rocks. I now have 4 kids, so I was impressed when you had 3, but I have 4 now. Well, we're going to take some learning program and discuss it. And today we're talking about a LinkedIn Learning lesson on video interviews. And in wherever we post this, we'll put a link to it, and we would recommend you do it. It takes about 15, 20 minutes, or you can just do a little bit of it so you can understand. But you might like this even if you don't. We'll see. Talking about liking, Walker, what's something you liked about this course?
I really liked the production value. One thing about LinkedIn Learning in general is that the courses tend to be really well produced. The audio and the video are really high quality, so it gets high marks for those.
I 100% agree. That was my main what really works. Jenny is the actor from jobjenny.com, is that right? Mm-hmm. And she's great. She's funny. So production value, also acting, I'll say. So she's great. She's charming. I loved her costume changes, the clapper reference. Yes, the clapper. And love the pajamas and well-produced videos. I felt like that carried it through and made it enjoyable to do. Walker, what did not work for you with this one?
I think a common thing that I see are courses that are really just libraries of videos, and then somebody somewhere insists there needs to be interactivity here, and so a designer puts in a couple of quizzes that are usually just declarative knowledge, like X is the most important feature in interviewing well, or something like that. This one was a little better. They were the questions were scenarios, which requires you to do a little bit of applying the thinking. But overall, it really struck me as just like, here's some videos, and we tacked on some quizzes because we feel like we're supposed to do that, versus asking folks to really cognitively engage with the material.
I agree. There was something off with the questions. I wrote that when I first did it, and then I was preparing, and I looked back at the questions. And when I looked at them, I thought, these are really good questions given the content. Why did I dislike them when I was doing it? Like, one of them was, what's the first step in getting your video setup ready? And it was a good question. The answer was, do it a day before, which is really smart. Like you and I have experience, don't do it when you're actually trying to record. But something about it while I was doing it, I did not like them. And I think it's actually because they were not speaking to me. It was too easy. We know how, there was a lot of questions about, why do companies do video interviews? Who cares? Who's watching this LinkedIn Learning to learn why companies do video interviews? I think it was they didn't really identify the learner, and so they were trying to cover everybody. That's my hypothesis.
Yeah, I agree. You could also see that in the fact that a ton of the material was general interviewing facts and tips, right? A lot of the information, I would say the vast majority of the information presented was about interviewing in general, which isn't bad, right? Everybody can always get better at interviewing, but it doesn't match, the objectives of the course. There wasn't this sort of careful dialing of material to who's going to use this, how are they going to use it, and then how do we get them to actually practice the skills involved, which I think if we can move to what we can learn from this, I think, the future of learning is direct application of the skills being taught. AI tools allow us to build learning experiences that were sort of dreams, even 5 years ago. Where, for instance, with this tool, you could say, go to this video practice tool, record yourself giving your backstory succinctly and brightly, and then get rated on your ability to perform that skill that is specific to video interviewing. So I think going forward, I'd like to see a lot more of that, not just in this course. And, I understand that maybe it was produced before those things were possible, but just for learning, period. Like a better focus on what we're actually trying to get people to do, and then giving them the chance to really practice those skills and get feedback.
Yeah. To that point, I thought a strong question was when she asked, what's the problem with this screenshot of her on camera? Like applying it. You're right. For me, the takeaway was when I'm looking at a learning platform where I might load up a course or LMS or something like that, I need to be careful that the tools that they have are actually tools that I'm going to consistently use. Because it seemed like she was locked in, like she had to use some of these tools, but they really weren't applicable. And so, we need a toggle switch. Like, we don't want questions, or I don't want a feedback on my question thing. Like, sometimes you just don't want that stuff. But we get so excited. We're like, oh, we could do this. Yes, yes, yes. Add this tool. And then sometimes it's just not worth it, So.
Yeah, I think it's good backwards design is what we're really talking about. Starting with the outcomes that you want the learner to achieve, and only including things that really drive them to apply and get feedback about those outcomes. And that's the secret. Versus what we often do is just say, well, we want a 20-minute course. There need to be 5 topics. We kind of need to talk about interviewing. That's how you end up with a product like this that can be really polished, really nicely put together, really well presented, but that doesn't just zero in on exactly what people need in order to improve.
Yeah. Cool. Well, please go check out that lesson if you haven't already and see what you think. And go ahead, drop a comment, engage with us. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Noah.
Thanks, Walker.